We want our children to be able to read and write and to think for themselves, and we demand that the children who fear God are protected in your school.
Columbine happened. That was the very first time you heard school shooting. Now it's become the norm.
Additionally, there is queer affirming, which is working towards a queer affirming network where heteronormative thinking no longer exists.
Then there's JJ. JJ is neither a boy nor a girl. Ever since JJ was very little, they never felt exactly like a boy or girl.
Can you be in your right mind and be decent as a human to allow this to be at the access and the fingertips of children?
What do you do when those parents come for you? Oh, friends, brace yourself for this one. Okay, we have parents react to woke trends agenda in school today. We're going to look at a number of videos. I think about 4 different videos of parents speaking. Man, you know what? I don't need to say anything. They're going to tell you everything. Like and subscribe to the page. Click the bell icon for more. Link in the description below. Go show some love to the YouTuber as well. Without further ado, let us now get into the heart of the message.
Tonight I'm filled with righteous indignation. I want to define something for you tonight. The definition for pervert. It means to alter something from its original course, meaning, or state to a distortion or corruption of what was first intended. It means to lead someone away from what is considered right, natural, or acceptable. This book has been permitted in 6 schools in the Wake County public school system. Doesn't it make you cringe as I read that to you? I witness as each person came up and read different things from the books that's in the public school system here. You all cringe. You don't like it. You don't want to hear it aloud. You don't want anyone to read it. It makes you crawl in your skin. It's a dastardly deed. The question today is, who is the pervert that's allowing this to be purchased and delivered to our libraries? Come out from wherever you are. Who is the pervert that signs off on this filth? Who are you? You know, what do you stand for to accept this? Can you be in your right mind and be decent as a human to allow this to be at the access and the fingertips of children? Who is the pervert that thinks that this is okay? Who is the pervert that sits smug in the school board meeting while this takes place? Who is it?
Well, let me tell you.
Before we hear this lady, I've reacted to her before. She's no joke. Brace yourself. This is one white woman. You don't want to stand in her way. This was John Amanchukwu. Who is the pervert? Somebody has to explain to me, why do they think this is okay? Like, you don't get these books in school without people checking it out, approving it. There has to be a system to which this is accepted. The fact that it is in the school, it tells you a lot about the schools. A lot could be said, but I'm beginning to realize the LGBTQIA plus community, they have their hands in everything. And it's very obvious there is a small group within that community. I don't know who they are, but they want children. They just want some kids. They love the kids. They want to play with the kids. They want to indoctrinate the kids. It's obvious. Otherwise, why are we having this conversation? If this wasn't so, why do parents have to even... You get my point. Let's continue.
Meeting while this takes place. Who is it?
Well, let me tell you. Less than 5% of the entire population of North Carolina identifies as LGBTQ. You guys all claim you want democracy. Well, you know what democracy is? It's the majority plus one. It's 50 plus 1. You know what? More than 50% of the people in this state claim that they believe in God, Almighty God, who made us male and female, God who made marriage between a man and a woman, God who said that we must protect our children. The fact that we can stand up here and we can brag about all of the wonderful graduations, but we know the statistics. 50% of children did not pass their end of grade tests. What are we celebrating? We have children coming up here telling us how horrible the mental health crisis is. Why? Most of us went to public school, and all of our peers are not in mental health crises. We have to ask ourselves, what are we doing to our children? I'm going to say we are discussing things with them that they are not emotionally, intellectually, and morally able to handle. That is what is causing the anxiety. That is what is causing the depression. That is what is causing the confusion. We need our children to be able to be children, to be able to be innocent, to be able to enjoy childhood and not know all of the drama and all of the difficulties in adult life. That is what we want. We want our children to be able to read and write and to think for themselves, and we demand that the children who fear God are protected in your schools.
My Lord, I love this woman. She tells it like it is. Again, this is a fight for children. I know there's been people who comes on my video and they want to come with their little fingers who put their anti Pastor James message. Is there, there's a transphobe, homophobe, is there a Christian phobe? We need a Christian phobia too. There is. We need some type of phobic we could work with. This is not about gay people. This is not an attack on, to be honest with you, the average person doesn't care. In America, we are a very tolerant type of people. Like, we value people's humanity and stuff. Like, we don't care. We love freedom in this country. This is not China. This is not Russia. Okay, this is not Iran. We're not those nations. So there's individual freedom here in this country. That's something that is one of the most valuable thing in this country. So nobody's trying to control who you choose to sleep with, you know. I will recommend you not to. I will say trust in the Lord with all your heart. Lean not unto your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge him, and he will direct your path. All right, I will say that. I will say don't give in to the lust. Trust in Christ and resist that lustful passion. But easier said than done. Okay? So therefore, I make room for you to do the things that you want to do. This is not about you being gay. This is not about gay folks. This is about children being perverted. This is about protecting the young. This is about looking out for their innocence. That's what this is about.
Is John Amanchukwu, followed by Robin Livingston.
I'm here to speak up for our children and our youth. They are being robbed of their innocence by the culture, woke parents, and the school system. They are being taught and pushed an over-sexualized indoctrination that tells them that they are a mistake and the wrong gender. That's a lie. They are also surrounded by adults that are celebrating pride instead of humility. LGBTQ makes up of only 3% of the population, but it's being pushed as if they are the majority, while the majority are being mocked and dismissed. We are already seeing the effects of this push. Young children and the youth are depressed, suicidal, and confused more than ever. I have recently heard countless stories of young trans adults who regret their decision and are now dealing with lifelong consequences. Consequences from cutting off their body parts, blocking their natural growth and development process, getting several irreversible surgeries, and taking lifelong medication. They now deal with mental torment, depression, and suicidal thoughts, all because they were taught to hate their God-given genders. The children's books, as you heard today in the public libraries and schools, are explicitly teaching kids how to have sex and to question who they were born to be. It is scientifically proven that our brains do not fully develop until we are 25 years old. When we are children, we don't know who we are or how to make decisions. I was a tomboy as a little kid who never wore a dress and loved to climb trees as a kid. And I'm so grateful my parents and my school did not tell me I was the wrong gender and change my gender. Because I love being 100% woman. You cannot blame guns for the school shootings by students. You must blame their mental health due to all this indoctrination. Growing up, I never heard of school shooting until Columbine happened. That was the very first time you heard school shooting. Now it's become the norm. This agenda targeting our children has to stop before we have a world filled with hopelessness.
My son has...
Yeah, that needs to stop though. That's not gonna work. Like, give this thing 10 more years, we're not gonna recognize our country, and there's gonna be a lot of serious mental health. I know mental health is a buzzword, but I will say there's a lot of demonic manifestation in this country. Okay, it's sad. Like, I was talking to my son, I'm like, make it make sense. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm just a Christian man. Okay. Here is the thing. If a kid is feeling some type of way about themselves, it's in the mind. And then some doctors come with their knives and say, let me cut what's between your legs, kid. Let me make you a phalloplasty, or give me your breast. Let me cut your healthy breast. Let me do that for you, because the way to fix what's wrong with you mentally is by cutting body parts physically. Lord have mercy. What are we doing? But these poor children, man, my heart breaks for them, because we live in a society where we are failing them. We are lying. We care more about money than we care about their mental health. And that's not right.
It has to stop before we have a world filled with hopelessness.
My son has access that he's 8 on his Wake County public school system laptop. Immediately pulled up genderqueer. Immediately was able to see all the photos. You know what they're reading. We've shown you what they're reading. They're reading things they should not read. But you can gaggle them, right? But you won't stop genderqueer from coming up on an 8-year-old's laptop. So I find that odd. But then, this is a corrupt board, so then I realize that that's just how it is, and things need to change. Additionally, there is queer affirming, which is working towards a queer affirming network where heteronormative thinking no longer exists. So the NCAE is basically saying that the goal is so that kids do not look and think the mom and the dad, that's normal. That's not normal. They don't want that to be normal. Why?
Good question.
I mean, does anybody know? Y'all don't.
Because the attack is on the family. It is true. They call it cisgender men. Cisgender? Please. Like, what are you talking about? Like, if you are a regular man, you boring. You need to cut some body parts, man. You need to become a trans, gay, or something. Do something with your sex, some type of sexuality. You need to identify yourself with something than being normal. Like heterosexual normality. They got these terminologies. I don't know. These people are confusing people. Listen, man, there's nothing wrong with you. God created you special, and he loves you very much. That was Veggie Tales, by the way. But it's true, is that you are perfectly fine. We need to address the mental health of our children, not cutting body parts, not telling them men and women are wrong. You know that stuff is demonic, right? And I've said it before, and I'll say it again. That is the doctrine of devils.
Hello, I'm here to speak on behalf of our younger children and their academics. This book, It Feels Good to Be Yourself, which has an oxymoronic title based on its content, can be found in 26 elementary schools. It is geared towards K-2, and as Macmillan Publisher says, it basically is geared toward ages 4 through 8. It introduces 4 different characters with different gender identities. It makes it seem as if gender is an imaginary concept that can be changed on a whim, when the truth is gender is factual. You're either a boy or a girl.
Yes, sir.
And gender identity,
ma'am.
what you see yourself as,
Yes.
that's imaginary. Well, let me read you a couple of things. First character is Ruthie. She's a transgender girl. That means when she was born, everyone thought she was a boy until she grew a little older, old enough to tell everyone that she's actually a girl. Then there's her brother Xavier. Xavier is a cisgender boy. Which 4 through 8-year-old knows what cisgender means? Can they spell cisgender? That means when Xavier was born, everyone thought he was a boy, and as he grew older, it turned out everyone was right. He was a boy. Then there's Alex, the friend. Alex is both a boy and a girl. Then there's JJ. JJ is neither a boy nor a girl. Ever since JJ was very little, they never felt exactly like a boy or girl. They just felt like themselves. This is JJ's gender identity. Some kids feel like girls. Some kids feel like boys. Some kids feel like a little bit of both. Part boy, part girl. Reminds me of that old commercial. Sometimes you feel like a nut, sometimes you don't. Is that okay? Some kids don't feel exactly like a boy or a girl. They feel like neither. Some kids feel that their gender identity isn't always the same. It's often changing. So now are we endorsing schizophrenia? What are we doing? Whether you feel like a boy or a girl or neither, if you describe yourself another way, that is your gender identity. When does this foolishness stop? When you shroud lunacy, insanity, or fallacy in colorful words and pictures to be read to young children, you have created an unsafe environment, since we're talking about safe environment, right? Where does it stop? At this tender age, our children should be learning their ABCs and 1, 2, 3s. Who authorized this? Who told you that you are God? Who gave you permission to tell our children who they are and who they're supposed to be? This is intentional and evil at its core. Get back to what you were elected to do and formally educate our children, not indoctrinate them with left-wing ideologies under the guise of providing a safe and welcoming space. Hear us clearly. We will not surrender our children. Leave our children alone.
What do you do when those parents come for you? I don't know, man. There's something really sick going on in public school. There's always been something sick going on in public school, but it has morphed into something horrible. It's very obvious there's an agenda to indoctrinate the children in public school, to corrupt their minds, to confuse them, to make them feel different than what God created them to be. It's very obvious. Somebody got some wicked plans in their hearts, and we can see you. Here's the thing. There has to be some solution to this. And now we can cry and speak, and I think what the parents are doing, excellent, excellent. This is where you bring about change. However, we need to pray for our children, man. We need to really pray for our kids. That's number one. Number two, we need to advocate for school choice. That means taxpayer dollars follow the kids where they can go to school so that they can avoid the indoctrination. Whether it is private school, charter school, we need to advocate for that. This is a political movement. Parents have to speak, vote, discuss this matter. And that is something I'm also thinking about because we're into private school. For those of us who can afford it, pray. In our family, we put our children in private school. And it's not because we have money. where we have faith and we trust the Lord, and we just put them in there. We said, Lord, you pay the bills. And if we have to work hard, we will work harder over time if we have to. But we will not put these children in the public school system. These public school systems are wicked, and I don't expect them to change tomorrow. We're not taking that chance. We're like, we love our boys and our daughters. We're like, we ain't playing that game. We not. Y'all been teaching lies, anti-God doctrine, atheism, evolution. Ever since this stuff started, I was like, nope, we're done. No. You're not having those kids of our kids. You're not turning them into some atheist God haters. You're not doing that. So we put them in Christian school. Expensive, costly, sacrifice, not easy. But guess what? At least they still have their minds. So for those parents who can afford private school, please do it. You have the faith to make that sacrifice and take that leap, maybe work an extra shift to pay those schools. Do it if you can. If you can, pray about it. Do it. These schools, speaking about this matter is not enough. Parents have to turn their back against these public schools. They have to. You have to abandon them. They're not doing their jobs, and they refuse to. Something gotta give. Whether you homeschool your children, take them away from the school, something gotta give. Like, we can't keep crying and speaking and yelling and talking about to these people. They ain't gonna change. These people are not going to change because it's in the fabric of the school. Some will change. Most will not change because it is in their DNA. It is. It's always been. It's only now manifesting itself. Where do you think the anti-God teaching, the evolution, the atheist teachings, what do you think the Big Bang Theory teaching that's been in school all of this time, the Charles Darwin teaching, where do you think it was going to lead to? It was going to lead to this. Because once you get rid of God and morality, anything goes. And there are some people, they love children, if you know what I mean. They say they are minor attracted persons. And I say, no. You are minor attracted perverts. You got some evil agenda. And I pray that the curse of God be on you for messing with children. I have no respect for you. Here's the thing. Much more could be said, but I'm gonna read this. How does God feel about some of this stuff? Well, he already spoken, so I don't know what else you want me to say. I'm just going to read what he says. Lord, have mercy on us here. These 6 things does the Lord hate. Yea, 7 are an abomination unto him. A proud look, a lying tongue, a hand that shed innocent blood, an evil heart that devises wicked imaginations. Who's writing these books? Somebody with whom wicked imaginations. Now, feet that be swift in running into mischief, false witness that speaketh lies, telling children that they are not, their gender is wrong. You're a false witness that's speaking lie, and God says that's an abomination. You lying. You know you lying. Maybe you've lied so long that you believe your own lies. And he that soweth these scords among brethren. Now here we are. We are fighting for our children. Parents are fighting for their children because somebody has sown discord, disagreement, division among us with lies and deception. Now we know it's the work of the devil. I get it. It is the work of the devil. Lord, have mercy. Not on the wicked ones, though. Have mercy on us as a nation. What is wrong with people today? Don't get me upset. Thank you for listening. Link in the description below. Have a good one. Bye.